Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Sorry it's been a while. Obviously we had Christmas and everything in the way. Hope everyone had a good Christmas. I think it was a bit of a quiet one for everyone with everything that's going on at the moment, but luckily enough we're all still here and we are back with another little review on this little beast. This is a Wltoys k989 rally / drift car, and what an absolute pucker little bit of kit this is. Got this from Amazon for around 60 quid. Bought it because obviously we're in lockdown. I've got a lot of laminate flooring in the house and I thought, well, you know, I'll make a drift course and make a little rally stage and stuff like that and muck about with the kids and whatever. This thing is properly quick. When you get it out the box, obviously it comes with your transmitter, which is 2.4, like most things now. Comes with a little teeny tiny dinky 2S LiPo, little 400 milliamp LiPo, and it comes with a USB charger for the LiPo itself. Also comes with different pinion gears and stuff, so you can adjust obviously your gear ratios and things, which I think is quite good. I've left it alone. It's quick enough and does what it needs to do as it is. So on the face of it, when I first got it out, I was quite impressed with how it looks. It's obviously based on something that Ken Block runs around in, like a Fiesta-y, Focus-y, RS type sort of thing. And, you know, it's got quite a cool colour scheme on there. So, you know, it's quite interesting to look at. Took the body off. And to be honest, the body itself is quite thick Lexan plastic. So when you're running around smashing into skirting boards and stuff like that, and crashing into your missus' ankle and that, it'll do really good to kind of bounce off and protect the front of the car. And as I say, I've bashed this about and whatever, and it's been pretty good. I haven't got any brakes or anything in there apart from a few scuffs here and there. It's got a little spoiler on there which is kind of melted into the body itself. It's got like little plastic tabs that they've melted on, so it's well and truly on there. But again, you know, for what it is and for how cheap it is, I think it's actually pretty good. So when I first took the body off, I was quite impressed with this. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I looked at a lot of little kind of 1/24, you know, that kind of size, about the size of your hand kind of cars to run around in the house. And I looked at Mini Zs and stuff like that. And to be honest, I didn't want to spend stupid amount of money on something that was the same size as my hand. And again, some of the Mini Zs and that can become quite expensive. And I also wanted something that I could potentially modify and adapt and kind of muck about with. And the Mini Z stuff tends to be, it looks on what I kind of saw, that it tends to be quite sealed up. You know, you kind of put the battery in and away you go. Whereas this is pretty much your 1/10 scale shrunk down into this kind of package. You know, it's exactly the same. You've got multi-link suspension on all four corners. You've got little shocks, proper dog bone drive shafts. It's got diffs front and rear, which again is exactly the same as what you would find in obviously the bigger versions. And all the bearings themselves are all proper little metal roller bearings. It's got a nice aluminium metal plate chassis, which has got an adjustable wheelbase at the back there. So you can obviously adjust the distance between the front and rear axle to accommodate different bodies, I'm guessing. 4-wheel drive. You've got a nice brass spur gear there. Quite a large brush motor on there. It's got a ESC and receiver combo. And again, it's got its 3-pin plug for the servo as well, so it's got a proper little micro servo down in here with a servo saver arm on the servo itself, so if you do bash the suspension around and whatever, it's not going to smash the servo to bits. The only modification I've done to this since I've got it out is on that front arm there. When it first comes out the box, that top ball joint there is a hole further down, so you don't get as much steering angle, and there isn't a way to adjust that on the transmitter itself, like adjust your endpoints or anything. It is literally just trim. And I wanted obviously a bit more steering angle for obviously drifting around chair legs and stuff like that. And again, it's for what it is and for the price, I'm very impressed with how much they've squeezed into such a little package. again, if we spin it round, you can see there you've got the centre drive shaft there for the 4-wheel drive. You've got the pinion gear there, which again is tiny. The spur gear there, which again is tiny. You can adjust the mesh on the motor mount, so for different pinions and spurs, you can obviously mesh the motor up properly. It's got a little foam protector at the front bumper, so again, when it hits curbs and hits skirting boards and stuff like that, it just goes badoing and bounces off. Again, it's not very heavy, so there's not a lot of weight behind it to kind of smash itself to pieces. Down points on there, the motor gets quite hot, I've found. I think your run time is probably about, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes, all depending on what you're doing with it. If you're thrashing it around, it might be a little bit shorter. If you're cruising around, it might be a little bit longer, but I'd say around sort of 5 to 6 minutes. And in that time, the motor itself gets very, very hot. Now, I don't know whether that's because it's geared slightly too aggressively, or you know, whether it's over geared or something like that. I'm not too sure. I haven't mucked about with the gearing itself. I've just left it as it is. It tends to be okay. And again, obviously with the motor itself, by the time it's got to any kind of sort of heat itself, the battery runs out. So you can take the battery out, let it cool down for kind of 5 minutes, and then go again with another battery. The only other thing was as well, the diffs, when I first got it out, the whole drivetrain itself was quite stiff. It didn't move very freely. The diffs themselves were quite stiff. So I was a bit apprehensive about that, but again, once I'd run around with it and used it for a little while, obviously it all kind of bedded itself in and worked itself free, and now it's really good. I've taken the front and rear diffs apart purely because I wanted to put some sort of lubrication in there. I know a lot of the Chinese stuff, when they first initially get them all put together, they don't tend to put any kind of lubrication in there at all. And being that these had obviously differentials rear and front, and being that they were so small, I did obviously wanted to have a look and see how they were kind of set up, and if there was any kind of lubrication in there at all, which there wasn't. So I put some thicker grease in the rear to obviously make it like a limited slip, and left the front with like a thin grease in there, so you've got like a kind of open diff on the front there, just so that when you're drifting and stuff, it kind of zooms about and kicks its arse out all over the place. But again, on the face of it, it looks like a really good little car. The tyres are really skinny. They are like a rubber, but again, they're not very grippy at all. On the carpet, they work brilliantly. On the laminate flooring, they skid about all over the place. I am going to get some hard plastic drift wheels for it, just so I can make a bit of a drift course up in the living room and have a bit of a zoom about. It does drift quite well with these on there, but again, it's got grip but not enough. So it's quite hard to judge when you're drifting around with it, because it kind of, sometimes it bites, sometimes it doesn't. So we're going to change them out and get some different wheels for it and that anyway. But yeah, guys, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm very impressed with it. Again, for the money and for what you get, I think it's an absolute bargain. And for something to muck about with while you're stuck indoors, you know, why not? You know, the weather's freezing cold at the moment. I can't get out fishing. I can't get out flying. So why not have something you can muck about with indoors? And again, being that the platform itself is very similar to something that you would find on like a 1/10 scale kind of model, it's very interchangeable. You know, you could, you know, very adaptable. You could take the centre drive shaft out, make it rear wheel drive, and put a little gyro in there and have it like a rear wheel drive gyro assisted drift car. You could do all sorts with it. You could take that brush motor out and put a little brushless system in there. I mean, again, it's already set up to run lipos anyway, and to be honest, these lipos are very inexpensive. I mean, these are very similar to what we use in like the UMX A10s and stuff. And I think they're about 5 or 6 quid each. They are the little 7.4 lipos. So again, very inexpensive. And again, it's something that you could really kind of adapt with, modify and muck about with and make it your own. I think with the adjustable wheelbase as well, that helps, because if you did want to get different bodies on it from a Mini Z or from something else that is maybe like a 1/24 or like a little bit bigger. I think these are a 1/28 scale, I think. Bit of a weird one, but again, like for like a 1/24, if you can kind of adjust the wheelbase and stuff like that, there is movement in the center drive shaft itself. You can obviously go out a little bit either way. It's not like if you move it out, you've got to put a new center shaft in there. It's all pretty adaptable, and you can move it around fairly easily. But yeah, well, cheers for watching, guys. Sorry it was a bit of a while before we put another video out. Again, obviously with this COVID thing and everything being locked down at the moment, it's quite difficult to get out and fly and whatever else. So it is fairly difficult. News on the channel. I've changed the name of the channel for the pure reason of that I don't touch nitro stuff anymore. And I haven't done in a while. And when I first set up the YouTube channel, obviously I was mucking around with the nitro stuff, and I think you can see in some of the really early videos, the nitro stuff was quite prominent then, whereas now I don't actually touch it at all, to be honest. And again, reason I've turned it into hobbies and not RC is because I kind of want to do a bit of everything. I'm into a lot of stuff. I have a lot of hobbies, you know. I like my RC cars, my planes, my boats, but I also like my carp fishing and other bits and pieces, you know, motocross and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to document it all on this channel and kind of run through everything and get a bit of everything for everyone, and kind of go from there. So if that's something you like, then brilliant. If not, sorry. But yeah, I'll do my best to keep everyone entertained anyway. But cheers for watching, guys. As I say, I'll try and put out as much content as I can. At the moment it's a bit difficult, but I will get there in the end. But cheers for watching, thanks for your patience, and stay safe. Cheers, guys.